is the visceral pericardium, or also called the epicardium. Phrenic nerves, the right phrenic nerve runs down the inferior vena cava. So it's that guy right there. Yeah, we did this before, but it's this guy right there.
Runs down what?
Runs right along the interior vena cava.
What's that?
Phrenic nerve, yeah. And then the left phrenic nerve runs along this mesentery into the diaphragm. So you can should be pretty obvious right there.
Yeah.
Right there into the diaphragm. So this is, hopefully you guys know the diaphragm.
Yeah.
So
Parietal and visceral peritoneum.
the which parietal and visceral peritoneum, yeah.
I say wrong. Peritoneum.
So again, I mean it's the same thing. Parietal lining the abdominal wall, and visceral on the organs.
Diaphragm.
Yep, you guys know what the diaphragm is?
Falciform. That's like the easiest part. Falciform ligament. Gallbladder. Like.
So we're so falciform ligament right here.
Gallbladder is like
This guy. What's this guy?
spleen.
Visceral would just. I think they would just say what's the membrane that covers these organs, because you can't separate the visceral pleura, from the organs. You're not able to do that. So.
Do you mind showing us like the common bile duct?
Yeah, so it's not the easiest to really show in these things. So, okay, so you guys know what this structure is, right?
Gallbladder.
Gallbladder, right? And so coming off the gallbladder is cystic duct, right? And that looks kind of greenish. And that is...
Yeah, it's better when you see a picture.
Yeah, so it should be this guy right here. See that green duct right here?
It goes right into a duodenum.
What's that?
It goes right into a duodenum, right?
Yeah, so the cystic duct joins the common bile duct.
The common bile duct goes into the duodenum.
Duodenum, yeah. Yeah, and so this should then, this gray thing right, this, it's really hard to see on here.
You should just let us draw it out.
Yeah, coming right off the gallbladder, if it looks greenish, that's the cystic duct. And then where it joins down into the duodenum, it's a little bit harder to see, but this is part of it right here. See that green right there? That's the common bile duct right there.
Is that like thick one?
Yeah, this greenish thick duct right there.
Is it common?
Common bile duct, yeah. And then that empties into the duodenum. But yeah, I agree. It's much easier when you see it sort of drawn out.
It's really hot in here.
You should just give us this cat and have us.
I thought it was just like,
Yeah.
no, like the same as the
Life a lot easier.
Online anatomy.
Yeah, sure.
So I think this is the cystic duct right here. Right here, that short little guy right there. See the greenish thing right
Alright.
there? That then empties into the common bile duct, which is this one right here. That then runs out to the duodenum. Okay, so obviously this is duodenum. Okay, so you guys know what this is?
spleen.
Yeah, this guy.
The stomach.
Stomach, right. And so coming off of the stomach, we have this omentum. Yeah, and then
We're not at the gastro yet.
I was just sort of hitting random things up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. So where would the gastrosplenic ligament be?
It would be between the stomach and the splenic.
Right. Yeah. And so it's part of the greater omentum, but it's this ligament right here. So stomach, spleen, gastrosplenic ligament right there.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of coming apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming apart a little bit, but yeah, it's in the omentum right there.
Okay.
So I don't think you need to know the structures of the stomach, but just know that the greater omentum comes off the greater curvature of the stomach, and then in the lesser curvature right here we have lesser omentum, right? So moving back up a little bit, if we come from the pharynx, food's going to travel down something called
Esophagus.
esophagus, right? And so where would that be located on here?
Behind the trachea.
Under the trachea, right? Exactly.
Flat.
Yep, exactly. So it's right here. Right, you can see it's sort of this flat, muscular.
QV part.
Right there.
Yeah.
And unless food's in there, it's just going to be sort of non-structural. And that travels all the way down through the diaphragm into. And so where does the esophagus end? Cardiac sphincter, right, yeah. And that connects then the esophagus to the stomach, right, to the fundus of the stomach.
Do you mind if you show me that again?
Cardiac sphincter, yeah, sure. So it's going to be right here, the very top of the stomach. And if you were to cut open right here, there'd be a sphincter that will separate the esophagus, which is here, guys. Here's the esophagus. So coming down here. So
the door.
the esophagus right here. Yeah, that's the esophagus. So separating the esophagus from the stomach right there is the cardiac sphincter.
Okay.
And I don't think on the exam it's going to be cut into, but just know at the very top of the stomach, that's where the cardiac sphincter is. And so what's on the other end of the stomach then? Pyloric, yeah. And so that connects the stomach to small intestine, specifically, yeah, duodenum.
Duodenum. Sorry.
Yeah. And so in the curve of the duodenum, there's this sort of also maybe cauliflower looking thing. Pancreas, right.
Yeah, brown.
And so the pancreas is not only in the curve of the duodenum, but it's also, it kind of is attached also to the greater omentum. You don't need to know that, but just, you can see over here, this is also the pancreas, right here, right, as part of the greater omentum. So, part of the duodenum, but then also part of the greater omentum.
How do you know when it goes to like the duodenum to the
curly fries. The jejunum is the curly fries.
Curly fries. So duodenum, I mean, 12 fingers is what it means. So in humans, you know, you can just sort of measure it out. But it's this sort of, there's not much structure to it. It's called that it's not very motile. So it's just very broadly sloped right here. Whereas the jejunum, you can see, is really curly fried. So this right here is the duodenum, and then it will end right here.
Ileocecal valve.
Where?
So this is the ileocecal valve.
Where?
I'm asking.
Oh no, it's gonna be like
Isn't it like a bird's beak or something?
yeah, the beak.
So what? So what's the cecum?
Isn't that the large intestine?
Cecum is at the beginning of the large intestine.
Right. So the cecum is the very beginning of the large.
You look so confused.
Yeah. So this is not the ileocecal junction. This is the end of the duodenum and the start of
Oh,
the
we're on
small
the other
intestine.
side.
The end of the small intestine is the ileum, right?
Yes. And so where would that be? Right
At
here?
the end of the small intestine.
Be this guy right here. Sorry, I
touch
should
it with
not
my
make you guys
finger.
touch it.
So where's the cecum? That's the ileum. Right
Oh,
there,
the
that
cecum
long
This-
part.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not right.
at the large
This is the ileum right here.
Okay.
So let's just work our way down here. We've got duodenum right here, right? Looks like this curve. And then that's going to then move into the jejunum.
Yeah.
And then yeah, this is just the large intestine looks a little bit different on this cat. But here's that bird's eye, parrot beak or whatever you want to call it, cecum. Yeah. And so this is the ileum right
And
here.
then between it is the ileocecal junction.
And also, actually no, you don't need to know, but the ileocecal junction's right there.
Okay.
If you cut into this, there'd be a valve called the ileocecal valve.
Okay.
But I don't think you need to know that.
Yeah, we use them like that's the same amount.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But don't
So the beginning of the large intestine,
Cecum.
cecum, and then this guy has a full large intestine.
Mesocolon is under it, right?
Right. So what's
The
the?
mesentery?
Yeah, exactly. So mesocolon is the mesentery that connects the colon to where?
To the
to the back,
to the
holds
large.
it.
Right, to the dorsal wall. So it's actually not very visible right here, but there would be a membrane that would run from dorsal side of the large intestine to the back wall. And on right here, that's this right here. Mesocolon. Right. So where's the mesentery proper then?
So around the small. Yeah. So that's the
Isn't that on the jejunum?
Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you stretch it out.
Yeah, so it's only on the jejunum, and it's this right here. All of this membranous structure right there. And it supports all these blood vessels and veins that drain nutrients from the small intestine.